Hi, I'm Zach. Welcome to my channel, The Monster Garden, where I do readings using my original cards. The cards have characters from my game Monster Garden on them. This right here is Mr. Bobo. He's the main character of the game. He's on one of the cards, and then all the cards just have different monster characters from the game. So today's topic is advice for creators and artists to break through their creative blocks. How to break through that creative block. So this is for anyone who makes something. Maybe you don't think you're an artist, but maybe you just have a hobby of doing music, or it could be cooking, gardening, drawing. It could be in your job if you're doing creative things as a professional. But it's for anyone feeling stuck. If you're searching for that motivation or inspiration or idea for a new project, you just don't know what to work on. Maybe you have too many projects, you can't choose one, or you just have no ideas left and you need some kind of new inspiration. So I'm planning to do this just pretty free and open, maybe a little silly, give you some off-the-wall ideas to just break through that block. I'm just going to try to have some fun and wild new messages, maybe. We'll see what happens. And I hope that it helps you get back in your creative rhythm and feel inspired again and just enjoy expressing yourself and creating things. This time I chose 4 key rings for the piles. There's 4 piles instead of 3, as you've probably noticed. We've got this green keyring for pile 1, a red keyring for pile 2, a blue keyring for pile 3, and then a yellow keyring for pile 4. I just found these in the studio where I am right now. So just take a minute, pause the video. What I like to do is pause and look at each pile and just slowly take a minute to see what each pile makes me feel or imagine or think. And whichever one's just giving me the strongest impression, that's the one that I choose. There's no wrong way to choose a pile. You can do whatever works for you. Just whichever one you feel like is calling your name. And then once you've chosen one, there's timestamps for each pile in the description box for this video. So you can go to that and then choose the timestamp for your pile. And you can always look at more than one pile if you feel like it. Maybe 2 of them feel like you should see them. And you can watch 2 piles, whatever, it's up to you. If you wanted to, you could just watch all of them and have a whole bunch of advice for breaking through all kinds of creative blocks. But I'm going to get started with the reading now. If you're new to the channel, thank you for watching. Thank you for making it this far, and please enjoy your reading, and I'll see you in your reading. Hi, if you chose pile 1 with the green keyring, this is your reading. So what I like to do when I'm doing these readings is before I even look at the cards, I let myself kind of imagine something, try to get a vibe from them just for fun. And since this is a reading about breaking through creative blocks, I thought I would just share those things that I imagined, because I kind of imagined a lot with these. I just had fun with it. For this one with the green keyring, I imagined like a big, beautiful tree, like a lush, gigantic green ancient tree. And then behind it was like an even bigger, more lush and mysterious and beautiful mountain. And there was just kind of like gentle mist in the air. It was kind of like how you might just imagine a mystical ancient green forest, and it felt really like free and joyful, just kind of like a mysterious forest with kind of mist, but especially this big tree with a big mountain behind it. So kind of this ancient mysterious feeling. That's what I imagined. We'll just see what the cards say. And so I'm trying a really loose and open style of reading this time with just 6 cards lined up like this, and then we can see the connections. Wow. Okay. So we've got the squares, the complementary colors. These actually are kind of a vibe of that little mystical, mysterious, gentle, like a gentle background feeling of just light, colorful things floating around. Each of these squares brings flowers to your garden in my game. So in my game, you go on little adventures and meet monsters, and they come back to your garden, and the garden starts empty and slowly builds up. So there's 6 colorful squares. They're kind of like the colors of the key rings, actually. You can see there's blue, yellow, red squares on this card. And they just bring flowers of their color. They just give you compliments if you talk to them. They're very lighthearted, joyful energy. And they're just simple background characters. None of them are a main character, but it's just kind of like colorful things in the background, spicing things up. That was in reverse. I'm going to go through with the other cards before I explain anything else. But then we've got Drizzy, kind of this character who's always talking about the void and how we all come from the void. It's kind of like the big nothingness of everything. We're all just stardust in the universe, but at the same time, that's kind of beautiful and amazing beyond our human comprehension. That we're all just nothingness, like Zen nothingness of the whole universe existing as one. Then we've got Tifa the Time Fairy. She is a mystical floating poet. She floats around letting her beautiful words flow out of her mustache. She is also in reverse. There's a lot of reversals. I think it might be related to the fact that this is blocking you. Then we've got Baby. He's the delightful spinning baby hippo, just looking for playful connections here and there, kind of savoring the connection with each monster he encounters. It says, follow the fun on his card. That was also in reverse. Then we've got Strength Deep Roots also in reverse. Speaking of giant trees, I swear I didn't look at these cards, but this character is a gardener who I imagine her standing in front of a giant tree, watering it. And the point is that there's these deep roots beneath the surface that we can't see that are incredibly strong. So of course, maybe the tree is big, it looks perfectly strong, but it has even deeper and more powerful roots. You can't like knock it over because these roots go so deep. It's about deep strength below the surface we can't even see. So I imagine she almost has like superpowers that from looking at her you wouldn't know, but little do you know she can have superhuman strength to lift up a really heavy object or whatever. It was also in reverse. Then we've got the Bobos again. Colorful characters, yellow, green, blue, pink, almost just like the cards, or not pink, more like purple. These are characters from the game. They're kind of like Mr. Bobo's friends or family or alternative egos because they're shaped like him but different colors with different funny little personalities. They're all kind of simplistic, kind of like impatient little children that demand different funny things, but in the end it's endearing. They're like making their little demands, but they're kind of cute and endearing and each have their funny different personality. It says Bobos, so many Bobos. And that was a right side up. So for one, I think it's really interesting that you've got the squares and the Bobos. They're both like an assortment of colorful creations that just spice things up. Very colorful, all the colors of the rainbow. They're all kind of minor background characters, but that add color and delight to the situation. But the squares are reversed and the Bobos are upright. You've got a lot of reversals here. It seems like you could be kind of like in awe of how big the universe is, how small you are, because these are like the little tiny Bobos and Drizzy is like the gigantic hugeness of the universe energy. And in comparison to all of that, maybe you feel too small or insignificant, like there's all these talented people, what could I do? What could I make that could, amount to anything in this big, huge universe we're in? Since these characters are kind of childish, maybe you feel like too young or unskilled or inexperienced to make anything worthwhile. And this feeling could be holding you back from like tapping into this deep, amazing strength you have. It could be holding you back from like enjoying this playful, moment-to-moment, delightful energy. And from accessing your mystical, like intuitive, unknown, creative flow. Just it could be blocking that from flowing out. That's what Tifa's all about, is not knowing where it's coming from, but just letting these words flow. And then also, just depriving you of this just delightful, I feel like this is a really key card for the creative process, actually. This just the feeling of like little delightfulness. Taking joy in each little stroke of the pencil if you're drawing, or in each note if you're a musician. This is about just like small joys that like make you feel good. You could be feeling unable to tap into these kinds of energies or deprived of these things by this feeling that there's just the world is so big, other people are so talented, what can little old me do? So I'd like to look at the positions of the cards, their relations to each other, to try to find some advice for busting through this. One interesting thing about these cards is that Tifa and Baby in the game, different characters had different relationships. They kind of just naturally emerged when I was making the game. And as I was writing the dialogue, I realized Baby just totally fell for Tifa. They're like a really beautiful match. Because Baby is moment to moment just kind of making jokes about things, the way things look. Baby is very focused on others, like social connections. And then, meanwhile, Tifa is this distant, aloof, mystical energy just floating there. No one knows where she came from really or what she's really doing, but she's just creating this mystical poetry that sounds full of meaning. So that's, in a sense, that's a very good balance. Like Baby is somehow totally intrigued by this mystery. Baby is more like in the moment, more kind of physical world focused on, food, playing games with others, the way people look and act. And Tifa's like connected to other worlds and this intuitive energy. So it's like a really nice balance. They each have something that the other one lacks. So I think Baby is kind of grounding for Tifa, this kind of real world, fun, simple, short-sighted playfulness. And meanwhile, Tifa has this mystical, otherworldly energy. So this is about like balancing those two energies and how they not just balance each other, but they kind of work each other up. Baby gets like so excited to be around Tifa. And I think Tifa, so there's another side to Tifa that she likes showing off her sexy body. And secretly, she likes putting herself out there in the world and getting attention, even though she might act so aloof and just like a mystical floating poet. So Baby's showering her with this kind of flirtatious attention is like actually makes her feel grounded and happy and connected. So they really work together really well. They're both reversed on opposite sides of this little spread. So I feel like they can like work together for you somehow. If you can find some kind of fun and delightful things to really set you off Baby style, whether that's food or like kind of like sensual delights that can kind of help you get into this Tifa mode. And conversely, letting your intuition just like tell its story without really knowing where it's coming from can help you get this Baby energy and enthusiasm. So these are like kind of two sides of a coin, or not really that, but two things that encourage each other and build you up. That could build up your creative process to really get going. I don't know which side of this is really missing for you, but whichever one sounded like it was the one lacking for you, maybe building that up will work to help the other one. Maybe you're lost in just thinking that you need to create this mystical poetry out of nowhere, and maybe you're not really thinking about funny, real-world, delightful things like going to eat a bowl of ice cream, but that could actually help you. Or maybe the other way around. You're trying to look for something fun. You want something that's fun and delightful. And maybe just kind of taking a moment to go on a melancholy walk to discover your inner beautiful Tifa poet could actually be what gets you going in that stream of delightfulness. So I think that's one key relationship in this reading. That on two corners. On the other corners is the delightful rainbow-colored, group of characters. These ones can be kind of impatient and childlike, like I was saying. You might be stuck in that, like demanding that things be one way. Kind of being a little bit stubborn and thinking that the creative process has to look like this. This has to be the way that it goes. It's supposed to be this way, and maybe that could be blocking you a bit. These are more kind of almost passive. They're just floating in the background, just giving gentle, soft compliments. Nothing too deep, just gently appreciating things. And by floating there throughout the game, they join the game in level 1. And after the 3 levels, they discover their true calling of becoming musicians. It's kind of spontaneous, but it's like just floating and growing with their flowers and their gentle, positive energy. They eventually discovered this new passion, or maybe they were just practicing in the background the whole time, and they finally announce it at the end of the game that they become musicians. And they provide music at the party at the end of the game. It really brings the party to life with this kind of gentle background energy. So I feel like letting go of any stubborn pressure on yourself about how the process is supposed to look, and just almost kind of putting things on the back burner, just being like, okay, they're like this now. No pressure. I'm just going to do this little side thing. It's not too much of a big deal. Just gently and giving yourself a little bit of gentle, complimentary, positive energy. Don't forget to pat yourself on the back, and even For a little small progress, just sit back and be like, well, that's nice. Like, at least I drew a little something there. That's good. I keep saying drawing analogies because I love drawing, but it could be anything. So giving things time to grow and being gentle and just appreciating yourself and your progress, I think is going to help you. Instead of demanding things must be this way, and expecting other people maybe to see it your way, or expecting yourself to fit into the way other people want you to look, like feeling like you have to look or act the way that people expect someone in your role to act. Maybe just get over that and let yourself just be a little more gentle and free. That's the other key connection of these corners. Like, these corners both gave some really crucial tips. And then in the middle, we've got some big cards. Drizzy, like I said, is like the infinite beauty of the universe. He's like a secret character you can unlock that he gets that he's in a game. It's kind of like, this is all just a game, and ultimately this is all nothing. It's a little bit, in reverse, it can be kind of negative or nihilistic, but there's also a kind of deep side to that can be very positive, appreciating the beauty of the universe, but can also make you feel a bit small or lost. It's nice for like appreciating, but that's hard to get creative when it feels like, you're a tiny speck in a giant universe. That's really the feeling that a lot of artists want to create when people look at their work, but it might not be so helpful for making work. And then you've got the Deep Roots card. It's like you've got this strength under the surface you're kind of depriving yourself from tapping into. Maybe by being a little too big picture and seeing yourself a little too small, kind of because of the themes we were looking at in the other cards. So I feel like if you kind of focus on those things we talked about in the corners, that could really help you to break through this stuff in the middle and access your deep strength. And this character really just takes delight in her strength. She doesn't show off. It's like she has superhuman abilities, but she never shows them off or never brags about them. So people don't even, maybe might not recognize or appreciate it about her. And then when the time comes to use her powers, she might, lift up a car to save someone's life or whatever. And people are like doing a double take, like, what? She just did that? So this character kind of takes delight in that moment of surprise. It's kind of like her little secret that she has these superpowers, and she kind of just giggles to herself when she thinks about how other people are going to be so shocked when she finally does show her powers. You have these powers, but you're kind of depriving even yourself of seeing them. I feel like since in reverse, you're kind of denying this to yourself. You think, I could do nothing. I'm so immature. I'm so unskilled. But this would be saying, and in fact, you're very skilled, or also maybe it just doesn't matter how skilled you are. Like, don't deprive yourself of the opportunity to have fun being creative just because you think that you don't have the strengths to make anything or you're not good enough. I mean, everybody can enjoy being creative, and there's always some value in that. And I feel like maybe you're actually better at it than you think. And, or you could get better, but you won't, find out until you try and give yourself some time with it. The key themes of this reading, kind of tapping into this balance of like real world, delightful, just simple little pleasures of baby energy with this mystical balance of like mystical, aloof, internal, intuitive energy. And then colorful, delightful, just enjoying the moment in just small ways, gently appreciating yourself and stop feeling, too overwhelmed or hopeless. So I hope this helps you get back into a creative vibe. I mean, Tifa's a poet, so if you're looking for an actual thing to create, you could try poetry. Baby loves ice cream. This character is a gardener. Then the Bobos. We've got King Bobo, the little kid who thinks he's a king. We've got Lil Bobo, the kind of foot-stomping, kind of ostentatious, like a precocious preteen Bobo. We've got Twilight Bobo, the sultry, mystical, secret Bobo that doesn't talk very much. And we've got Dr. Bobo, who himself has a broken arm. So they're all kind of funny in their different ways, as you can see. I feel like maybe some bright colors are going to spice things up. You got so many colorful characters. Baby also is all about the bright, colorful things, just like stimulation of bright, colorful little objects. All of your corners the images are just full of colorful flowers, as you can see. Whatever that means to you, like spicing things up with a little enjoyment, maybe putting flowers in your workspace, just putting some colorful objects around you. and they could inspire you to create something. You never know. And if you want to channel that Tifa energy, wear some clothes that make you feel sexy and beautiful and creative, and that make you feel like a beautiful poetry muse, whatever. Get into that, savor that role. You deserve to feel that way too. Because that's how Baby makes Tifa feel, like this sultry, beautiful poet. So savor that too. So I'm going to end your reading here. I hope you enjoyed this. That was a lot of fun for me. I hope you got something out of it. I hope it helps get you back in that creative mode. And hope you'll like this video if you enjoyed it. And please let me know in the comments whether you thought it was accurate or not. And if you want to, please subscribe to the channel and share it with any friends who you have who you think would also enjoy it. So thank you, and I'm going to move on to the next pile. Hi, if you chose pile 2, this is your reading with the red keychain. So when I'm doing readings, before I look at the cards, I like to just let myself imagine what kind of image I get from each stack. And since this is a card about creative blocks, I thought I would just share those to maybe give you a vision of something that could maybe inspire you to create something. So with this one, I kind of saw like this big, murky, intimidating lavascape of like flowing lava with, like floating, whatever the lava version of an iceberg is, like pieces of land floating amidst the lava, and volcanoes, and kind of feeling stuck on just one of these lava bergs, whatever they're called. And then kind of a cool freezing wind gushing in and freezing all the lava. So suddenly you could like run across the lava field, and instead of scary hot lava, it's like a fun lava ocean frozen in place that's you can more easily navigate. So I don't know, but maybe that will give you some kind of fun mental image to be inspired by. And then let's see what the cards say. We've got reversed love, ready, awaiting orders, Q, Rufy, Bloomin, and Tukas. So first of all, what I'm noticing is this corner here. We've got the reverse support and encouragement card, and with the reversed ready, I feel like it's just a message of not feeling ready, not feeling supported, and kind of pulled back and restrained, like I can't do this, I'm not ready for this, I can't handle this. Because that's also very much the Rufy card. Rufy is from the second level of my game, where this boss is telling everyone what to do, and Rufy is just kind of pulled back with anxiety, kind of retreating into its body like, oh god, no, I can't do this. And meanwhile, Rufy has all this pent-up energy it wants to let out, but it's too kind of tense and anxious and pulled back. And this is the card of having everything you need to act, but in reverse. It's kind of like, for some reason, not being able to take that leap into action. And this one is not feeling like you have the support and love and encouragement to act. So this corner is really feeling like the core of the block. It could be this feeling of just being stuck, like no one's supporting me, I'm not ready, I can't do this, like where do I go? It's also the feeling of like being stuck on that lava iceberg thingy where there's scary flowing hot lava all around you, you can't make a move. And then interestingly right here, the two upright cards, which is why I'm looking at them, we've got Bloomin and Q. Q is a former bully that kind of realizes that he or she was bullying other monsters because, in fact, she was the one that was scared and hurting and was just lashing out at others. And she kind of wants to start a new lifestyle, like a reformed bully, where she no longer hurts others, but instead tries to heal herself and heal others, moving towards healing instead of hurting. And the Bloomin are observers from the outside. They're these weird, strange, kind of alien-like monsters that don't belong. They just kind of are asking questions, gathering data, floating around with their little mustaches blowing in the wind. So together this feels like looking for a new beginning, wanting to start something new, go in a new direction, and kind of being in the data gathering stage. So this could explain why you feel so stuck and like you're not ready. And maybe that you're starting a new hobby or a new creative practice, or you want to start a new project, but it's like, where do I go from here? Like, it's too intimidating or too scary, or you don't feel like there's anyone else to support you in this new journey. Speaking of journeys, we've got Tukas, the boy on a journey. He's from the same level as the blue men. So in this level, there's a boss telling everyone what to do, and Tukas is one of the booty biker boys who work for the boss. You can see two more of them behind him. They're the red guys. He's the blue one. But he gets fed up with always rushing around on errands and being in a hurry. He wants to just sit still and figure things out. And he wants to have no clue what he's doing. That's the thing. He doesn't want to act efficiently or be productive. He would rather just actually have no clue what productive even is, because he doesn't know what he's doing. So it's about, again, being in between projects, in an in-between state where you don't know what's going on. But that's actually natural. When you're starting a new project, it's natural that you can't be efficient because you don't even know what you're doing. You're learning the basics. This was reversed. So you might be feeling lost, like, I want to do something new, but I don't know what it is. Or I don't have the skills for this. And rejecting that pressure of you have to be productive, you have to do this or do that. It's really about rejecting that pressure on yourself. So it sounds like you want to get started, or you are starting on a new hobby, a new project, but you feel like you're not ready, like you're scared to take that leap, and maybe a little scared of this beginning a new journey. So in terms of how to break through that, let's see here. The key thing for Q is kind of going from this lonely bully to being more connected and being part of a community. So Q's first step is finding like-minded people, finding other people that want to move towards, healing instead of hurting. You could try to find other people who are involved in this creative hobby, find a support network of people who support you, and again, that would help with this not feeling supported or encouraged. You could check out the backstory of an artist that you like. See how they got started. It's really fun to look at the early work of a now famous artist and see like their crappy drawings. And the other day I saw like the first drawings of this famous manga artist, Osamu Tezuka, and it was just like these scribbles. It looks like what any high school student could have drawn. I think it was his drawings from high school, and like everybody starts somewhere. So you could find other people who are starting out, look at the early work of an artist that you now respect and realize they were starting out at one point too. And I think a big part of this is just that you have to kind of embrace the unknown aspect that right now you're learning and you don't know what's going on, and that can be scary, but you kind of just have to go for it and kind of let all these scary, terrifying lava emotions of fear cool down, and just see that you can go on a new journey and learn stuff starting now. Maybe you don't know it yet, but that's what these blue men are about. Is they're gathering data, they're collecting a lot of information, asking questions, figuring things out, and you never know what they use it for in the game. So in the game, they can join your garden and they analyze the garden. Then at the end, they just say thanks for the data and fly away. So there's a big element of the unknown here. Like, you don't know what this data is going to be used for. All you know is that it's valuable data for a future project. I feel like that can be a really healthy perspective to take. When you're struggling and you feel like you can't do this good enough, what that actually is just experience that's going to help you in the future. That's another way of looking at failures, of course, or just those early steps. It's kind of just embracing, I don't know what this is going to lead to, but I know it's going to lead somewhere. And these two are in the upright, so I feel like that's a really big message of, figure out what other people have done, what they are doing, and get that you're going somewhere, even if you don't know where it is. But if you can find that exciting destination, which it seems like you found your exciting destination, but you just don't feel ready to make that leap. You kind of need to build up the courage to make that leap. So maybe, it's a matter of building up courage, seeing what's out there, finding like-minded people, finding a community, even if that community is just online, turning to people who support you and are going to support you in this, and keeping them in mind. Just think about these people who would appreciate what you're doing so you don't feel so lost. Drawing on what support you do have can help you feel ready for action and more independent, not kind of retreating into this anxious state like Rufy. So I feel like these things are going to help you reverse a lot of these cards back into the upright position and be ready for a new journey with all the support and encouragement you need, embracing your weird and unique personal vision and energy and just going for it and getting started on this new exciting journey. And it's just a matter of embracing the unknown, getting enough support from others and from yourself to feel like you can make that first leap. So let's see, in more concrete detail, how to make that first leap. What kind of things could break you through that? Well, you've got all of your reversed cards had a lot of very active energy. So Tukas, what he in the end realizes he wants to do is become a dancer, kind of just letting his body move freely and expressively. This character kind of has acrobatic, superhuman powers to like jump around, do backflips. He's ready to take action. And this character is from a story where people get magical powers from food, and when she eats delicious food, she gets this amazing powers to fly around, jump around, and all kind of strengths. It's very active in like celebrating the delight of delicious food, celebrating sensual pleasures. This character is about just like, it's also again kind of enjoying letting your body just move. And then this character, he has so much pent-up energy, but is scared to let it out. And he is very active running around, jumping around, which at first he's ashamed of. Like, it's embarrassed of how he's jumping around, fidgeting, and everything like that. But in the end, this character's journey is all about accepting and embracing how he is and finding others who accept and embrace how he is, too. Again, like the Q card, like the broken bully of finding a community of like-minded people. This character doesn't change how he is, he just accepts how he is and embraces it and finds people that accept and embrace it too. And this card is also about having everything you need, just needing to jump into action. So I feel like in terms of like getting your motivation to step forward, it's not about you need to like build enough skills to start or you need to get more experience before you start. You can start now. You just got to convince yourself that you can go for it and make that first leap. Maybe you can motivate yourself by seeing other people's work, finding like-minded people, but it's not about you're not ready. You're ready. You just got to do whatever it takes to convince yourself to take that first leap. But I think the main message is just a message of confidence. Like, it's not about you being good enough or you're not good enough yet. You don't need to wait for this day in the future where suddenly you're good enough to start. It sounds like you have this journey and goal you want to embark on and move towards, and the only thing stopping you is yourself. And I mean, that's understandable. You don't need to blame yourself or anything like that. It's scary to embark on a new journey, so just, you can take some time, see what other people are doing. You know, of course, do your research, but at the end of the day, you just have to take the leap and go for it. And you don't need to wait for this like random day in the future where suddenly you'll have more skills and experience. So you don't need to change yourself. You're ready now if you can just find the support and encouragement inside and outside. That's a big message right here. These characters are both just finding that support and encouragement. And then these corners are about finding acceptance and support from the people around you. I turned all of these around to kind of drive home that message of how you can change, but those were technically reversed. That was upright. This was reversed. There we go. So this is how you are now, but there's just so much potential if you can turn the situation around with a little shift in perspective. You just need to believe in yourself more, but you don't need to change your actual state or status or abilities. That's kind of the key message here. And then you'll be ready for an amazing new journey of discovery. Who knows where it's going to lead? It sounds like you have a goal. Maybe the goal will change as you go, or who knows where this journey towards the goal is going to take you. Maybe it's just an intuitive goal that you feel like there's something there for you if you pursue this hobby. And I think with these cards, it's saying you're going to go on a big, exciting journey leading you to something maybe you can't even imagine now, but you just got to take that first leap and believe that you're ready for it now and find people who also are supporting you and encouraging you on this journey. And there's going to be all kinds of discoveries, and who knows where it's going to lead you. But that's a very exciting position to be in creatively, so I look forward to hearing your comments in the comments section about whether this was true for you or not, or what it is that is this creative thing you want to take the leap for. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it, and feel free to share the video with anyone you know who you think might like it too. So thank you, and I'm going to move on to the next pile. Hi, pile 2. If you chose the blue keychain, this is your reading. So when I'm doing readings, I like to take a moment before I look at the cards and just kind of get a vibe from each pile. Just let my imagination run wild and imagine something for each one. But this time I thought I would share those kind of images I imagined, just since this is a reading about breaking through creative blocks. Maybe that could give you something to work with or be inspired by. So in this one, I kind of imagined like lowering a bucket deep, deep, deep into a really deep well and like scooping up some kind of precious holy water or something at the bottom, reeling it back up. And then you have this precious bucket of water and like you let one drop on the ground and like a beautiful flower grows out there. It's kind of like this precious little source of magic water that makes little beautiful things happen. That was kind of just the impression that I got. But let's look at the cards. This is going to be a free-formed reading. There's 6 cards laid out like so. So we've got Reversed Feb. She's the analyzing analytical monster from my game Monster Garden. We've got the Star card, the center of attention. Kind of like the MC of a party who guides everyone's attention. This one was upright. We've got Take the Lead upright. It's about being a natural leader who is a commanding presence everyone just looks to for guidance and leadership. And then we've got Tinty, the broken and beautiful clunking TV. Tinty is upright. Then we've got the Knowing card in reverse, understanding from experience. Then we've got Doofter in reverse, high hurdles. Now this is interesting because every card on the bottom is like the reversed position of the one above it. Reversed Feb, upright Tinty, upright Star, reversed Knowing, upright Take the Lead, and reversed Doofter. With reversed Feb and upright Tinty, Feb is about getting to the bottom of things, trying to understand things, not taking no for an answer, not leaving any stone unturned, and then kind of forming advice based on this thorough observation and assessment. And it's interesting because Tinty is kind of the opposite. Tinty is just accepting the way things are. Tinty is a broken, clunky old TV set. It just has this deep kind of just embrace of awkwardness and like, well, this is how I am. I'm just going to put myself out there. It's like not getting to the bottom of anything, just complete blanket acceptance, almost to the borderline point of giving up. But it's a really beautiful, sweet card of just accepting your shortcomings, accepting awkwardness, and really putting yourself out there how you are. So I feel like this already could be something about not trying too hard to understand things, just like embracing yourself where you're at and taking delight, even taking the delight in the mistakes. If you accidentally, to make a simple example, color outside the lines, instead of starting over because you've got to get each thing perfectly on point, just embracing those mistakes as part of the process could be one helpful thing. Then we've got upright Star card and reversed Knowing. So Star card, like I said, is about being the center of attention. It's not about that this character is a star per se. It's about he's like the MC of a party who guides people's attention from one thing to the next. So it's a very crucial role to have, but really the focus of attention is on, the next part of the show, not on this person per se. But it's all about taking that role of the center of attention, but just kind of for the public good, to keep everyone focused and together and having a good time. Then the reversed Knowing card. This card's about knowing things through experience at a level before words, where you could never explain it to other people. It's too personal, it's too deep. Even if you told someone a story about your experience, they wouldn't understand unless they've been through it. It's the kind of thing you have to experience to know. and maybe it's just impossible to put into words because you just know it through your body. So this is an interesting combination because this is very social, communicative, superficial, not in a bad sense, but in that it's like everyone's attention in a party on the surface, focusing their attention on different things with words. It's very much, using real words and language in a social setting to connect people. And meanwhile, this is almost like solitary, intuitive, isolated understanding that only you can have. Maybe other people who've experienced the same thing also have it. But it's a lot more introspective and quiet. I feel like maybe each of these cards represents a balance. Like a balance between what you can communicate to others, what you can expect them to get, and what is too personal for them to ever understand. And here it's like a balance between what you can actually analyze and assess in terms of this is good, this is bad, and what is just something you have to let it be and embrace those broken mistakes. It feels like a theme so far is that kind of balance. Then over here, we've got Take the Lead. Sorry, this card is not well illustrated. I'm going to redraw it with a full color illustration, but this is the only image that I had of this character from a comic, or one of the only images. It's from a little comic I did about food. But this is about someone who just naturally has that leadership glow, and people just look to them, and so they embrace the role of leader, and not because not against people's will, or not because they want to control people, but because it just makes the most sense, and they enjoy and savor that leadership role. But again, it's kind of just the person people want to be a leader, so it's really a healthy leadership energy. And meanwhile, Doofter, I call this the Steve Jobs card because this is about having really high standards and being very demanding, demanding the best from other people, not putting up with people who are time wasters. So this is a kind of solitary card. Speaking of solitary cards down here, these two are actually also quite solitary, just being your own broken, awkward self, and this deep knowing card. But this is kind of solitary in terms of going it on your own because you don't have time for people who waste your time. And so Steve Jobs, if you read his autobiography, he was very harsh and kind of cruel to his workers and things in his professional life and personal life. So although he was a natural leader, you could say he kind of abused his power or hurt people. It's not really clear whether that was a good or bad thing for his career and company. So this seems kind of a balance of that leadership role, telling people what to do when it's a healthy use of that power, and telling people what to do when it's just more like abuse and demanding too much. So there's like a clear theme of balance between understanding, not understanding, balance between what you can express and expect people to understand and what you can't, and a balance between guiding and telling what to do in a healthy way and that in an unhealthy way. And on the top, we've got all social cards, actually. This is like a public figure, going public with your role and becoming a leader. This is, like I said, the MC of a party. And Feb is all about offering advice, sassy advice to others, like observing and analyzing, sharing that knowledge through books. In the image, she's having a press conference to share her book, giving even unwanted advice to people. So it's also like a balance between this very public stuff and this very private stuff of going it alone, having things that other people can't understand about you, and just being your solitary, awkward, weird self, kind of being not understood. So these bottom ones are like a misunderstood, maybe very skilled, weird, eccentric artist, just going their own, getting that no one will ever get them. And the other side is a public leader who can explain their process, explain their work to others. It's like a classic, balance that artists struggle to have. How much are you going to make your personal work that no one gets and be a misunderstood artistic genius, and how much will you, fit your work into the public situation, into society? How much will you even try to explain it to other people? That's like the classic artist quandary. But this is just, in every way, this reading seems to be all about balance in these ways. It's funny how they're like upright and reversed over here. It's like literally flip sides of coins. So I think a key thing is if you can find ways to balance these, For example, it's fun to look at the corner cards. Right here we've got taking the lead, and also just embracing the fact that you're this weird, broken, clunky character. It's like taking the lead doesn't mean you have to stop being yourself. When you're in a public role, even in charge of other people, you're still your own weird person with shortcomings. These don't have to be mutually exclusive. It doesn't mean you're, abandoning yourself, and choosing to embrace your shortcomings doesn't mean that you can never be a leader. So that's kind of one kind of maybe a perspective on that balance you could think about. And those are both upright. Then the other corners are these reversed, Feb and Doofter. This could maybe be something to avoid, where Feb is this very sassy, demanding monster that goes around figuring things out, and then she thinks she knows best and tells monsters what to do. That can be, charming and in a good way and helpful because she's very analytical and good at what she does. But in the reversed, it can be kind of getting stuck in that rational mindset of trying to rationally understand everything and make a theory for everything, which isn't always possible, and then offering unwanted advice based on these theories. And Doofter is this card who can easily become negative with having very high standards, refusing and rejecting people that aren't good enough. It's kind of can be a little too harsh. So naturally, avoiding this harshness, no matter what you do, is a good thing. If you're going it on your own as your own eccentric artist, you still don't want to become too harsh or arrogant. And if you're becoming a more public-facing person, trying to be a leader or explain yourself, you can't explain everything. You have to keep in mind there's some things you can't explain, and some people don't want to hear your explanation. So that feels like something kind of positive to keep in mind, and something maybe to avoid. And these ones in the middle just feel like a key central axis of being in a center of attention position where people are looking at you and you're guiding them as best you can, but also keeping in mind there's things they're never going to know. When you're a public figure, you have a persona to a degree. There's just a side to you no one will ever get. There's like sides to your experience, to everyone's experience, that people simply can't know. It's not even that they don't want to, but some things you just have to experience to know. It's just how life is. It doesn't have to be a bad thing or a sinister thing or a lonely thing. We all have our experiences, and some people have shared those experiences and some people don't. So that could just be the key, is embracing this role where you have your own deep experiences, things you've been through, and you can also, guide people's attention to things with your work. I feel like your work is about sharing a message with people based on all of this. Seems like you have something you want to tell the world, and that's beautiful. You might have something you've experienced. You want to share your story with others. That's wonderful. And you can just find a balance between, honest, authentic story and what other people are capable of getting, and get that that's always about a balance. It's never one way or the other. It's not totally personal or a totally shallow sellout. I mean, it's like a spectrum, and everyone's on it to a different degree, but it's not something extreme. You have to make a choice between one extreme end, totally public sellout, or the other extreme of totally private, hidden, unknown artist. So I hope that helps you. In terms of any other things you could do to break through, just on a literal silly level, watch TV. Like, that's such a that's never considered, or that's not normally considered advice for artists. So I feel like just giving unexpected advice with this reading. Watch TV. Maybe you're someone who thinks TV is a pointless, shallow commercial enterprise. Maybe you'll get ideas for your next creative work if you just watch a silly TV show. Just flip it on, see what's on the news, see what's the latest reality show or whatever. Or watch a good TV show. There are some really high quality ones these days. You could try to read or write a book. Feb is always about making theories. You could try to, work on the theory behind your artwork. This character, I do feel like, since he's related to kind of parties and emceeing, it's got an aspect of music and dance. You could try to socialize, enjoy music or dance to kind of bring some joy into your practice. You could also this is a weird one, kind of enjoying enjoying using power that you have. It's kind of weird to articulate because usually, I mean, of course, we don't want people abusing their powers, but with the little powers that you do have, you can just savor that you do have control over some things in your life, and you can have a ball with them. There's things you can have your way with. Just maybe sometimes have your way with something you're making, and put your foot down and kind of insist on doing it your way. Sometimes this character is kind of she's a genius on food, and she kind of barges in on other people and gives them a lecture on food facts in this comic. It's an educational comic about food. So maybe just kind of sometimes share your full expertise, even if it sounds a little bit arrogant or people didn't ask for it. Just maybe have some fun with nothing rude or mean, but when it's appropriate, work in a lecture about your favorite topic that you're passionate about. Give them that lecture about food facts or whatever it is. Don't do anything rude or inappropriate, but don't be too scared of, what if they don't want to hear my opinion? Maybe just a little bit, share your opinion beyond what someone wanted to hear. Maybe they'll be a little bit annoyed, but maybe they'll learn something from your amazing expertise. And this card would be maybe take some downtime to really get introspective, go deep, really get to know yourself and where you're coming from. That is really what this card's all about. Deep introspection, deep understanding, processing your deep experiences, even suffering, and turning the suffering into something beautiful and unique to you. That's really a key part of artwork in general. And then at the end of the day, don't be afraid to go it alone. People might not get you, so don't be afraid to say no to time wasters. That's kind of the advice from each card. So I hope you enjoyed this blue group 3, and if you liked this video, I hope you'll click the like button and subscribe to my channel, and share the video with friends if you think they'd like it. Please leave a comment if you thought this was accurate or if you didn't. I love getting comments. I've only gotten a few so far, but it really makes my day when I do get one. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hi, group 3. If you chose the yellow key ring, this is your reading. So when I'm doing readings, I like to take a moment and just look at each stack and let myself imagine whatever kind of things they're making me imagine. I just love to let my imagination run wild. So I do that. And this time I thought I would share those images, since this is about breaking through creative blocks. I thought maybe that could give you some inspiration or something to work with. And I had some pretty strong images coming from the piles this time. So for this one, it was kind of like wandering through a big empty desert where maybe there used to be a city, but it got covered with sands, and there's maybe a edge of a statue poking out of the sand, a giant statue, or the dilapidated roof of a building that's collapsed. Kind of just old things, but you're just kind of wandering around, wondering what to do in this dried up old desert. And then there's kind of like, this sounds kind of maybe religious or something, but like a kind of figure in the sky kind of smiles down on you and encourages you. But rather than a deity, I was thinking it's like your friends and loved ones, kind of remembering them and accepting their encouragement, and like kind of remembering people who understand you and support you, and kind of thinking what would they want you to do, and then just kind of seeing yourself kind of from the outside. How would someone else see you now? And then that kind of giving you the perspective you need to really get inspired in this big empty desert and start like digging for treasure or something. So that was a really specific, elaborate one that already sounds like advice. I have no clue if it's related to the cards, but let's just see what the cards are. It's the last reading. I'm getting a little bit tired, but let's just see here. Wow. Okay, this is a lot. Wow already. Jeez. Okay. Whew. We've got Sparkling Seedling. Each level of my game is represented by a sparkling seedling, so each of these represents a whole journey into itself of discovery, meeting new monsters, meeting new friends, growing your garden bigger. The whole game is about growing your garden. And so each seedling represents a little journey, and by going on this journey, it makes your garden bigger, brings new friends to your garden. It's just full of growth and potential. So that's really one of the most beautiful cards. So much potential, especially for a creative endeavor. And then this is a character who is ready to start a revolution on behalf of all monsters. No more anti-monster bullcrap. This monster says all monsters are beautiful. We need to stand up for ourselves and be our beautiful monster selves and put ourselves out there in the world. Very confident, going for energy, turning the tables on all those monster haters out there and embracing your true monster self. You can see Mel giving a lecture to a bunch of monsters on a table. It's very revolutionary. Then we've got Gatekeeper, super powerful, beautiful card, but deep play and imagination, access to other worlds. It's about going really deep and really playing with the foundations of things, playing with the unknown, with unknown forces, and stepping, over the boundary or through the portal or through the gate into a new world. You don't know what's coming, but just letting wild new images come to you, kind of like what I was just saying with exploring your imagination, just embracing unknown things. So I should say, to me, why I like monsters so much is monsters represent the unknown. And what I mean by that is, well, I think that kind of explains why monsters appear the way they do in most movies and, books and games and every form of media. Usually monsters are these scary forces that came to attack humanity because many of us have a natural fear of the unknown. So monsters are, oh no, they came from this unknown other world or an other planet, so we must destroy them and get rid of them. That's what I mean by anti-monster stuff. This monster equals generic bad guy is to me something I really don't like when I see it in movies and things. A more pro-monster attitude would be embracing the unknown, just like this character. This character is a character from a comic I thought about writing. I just thought of the characters without making the comic, but his power is kind of his ability to communicate with monsters because unlike everyone else, he kind of embraces them and gets them. He doesn't fear them. It's like it takes place in a world where there are monsters. Everyone else is like, oh no, monsters, scary. But he just calmly walks up to them, treats them like an equal and befriends them. So it's really about embracing the unknown, even though you don't get it, just having an open heart and open mind to it. So I feel like this is very key for this reading, embracing unknown monster energy. These two together is already just such a revolution. It's embracing this unknown energy is such a departure from our society where unknown things are excluded and feared and destroyed. I should also add, you might be thinking of Pokemon, thinking, well, in Pokemon the monsters aren't bad, but in Pokemon the monsters are kind of pets for the humans. So sure, they're not all feared and destroyed, but they're just there to serve the humans trapped in Pokeballs. So what this character is all about is kind of letting the monsters be free and be themselves. That's why the monsters like and respect him and will communicate with him in turn, because he's not there to control the monsters, to say you have to do this. It's even though the monsters are unknown and mysterious, it's letting that mystery remain intact. So in a sense, demanding an explanation from a monster, what are you, where did you come from, is a way of killing or controlling a monster. It's the way of killing and controlling the unknown. Instead of just letting it be, letting mystery be there, letting something mysterious and unknown and huge just be there without judging it or excluding it. That's the key deep wisdom of this message so far, of this character. So okay, that's the top row. That's a lot. And with the sparkling seedling, it's like unknown journeys of discovery await you if you can make this revolutionary acceptance of unknown and monsters. Then the bottom row, we've got the visionary artist card. This is about making your mark on the world. He's also walking with his monsters, you'll see in the image. This is about not doing what's going to please other people, not trying to make something others will understand, bringing your vision to life. You imagined it, and now you bring it to life. Bleep all the people who don't get it. They didn't have your vision. They might not understand it. Maybe you're way ahead of your time. Maybe they won't like your monsters. Maybe they'll judge your monsters. Too bad for them. This is like almost selfish visionary artist card of go for it and be your amazing artist. That's in reverse. So I feel like this could be what you're depriving yourself of, or what you could unlock if you can tap into this revolutionary monster energy and go on these incredible journeys of discovery. You can unlock your inner visionary artist ready to just like create a masterpiece. You can unlock this. This is a character who can see precisely just where to strike with precision. It's very much like, let's say there's a giant robot, again with the monster metaphor. Everyone's scared of this robot attacking the city. They're, in typical human fashion, just shooting gigantic bombs or lasers at it, just bashing it with all the brute force possible. But this character can kind of perceive, rather than all this bashing and waste of energy and over-the-top force, this one kind of sees just on the back, maybe like on the heel or the back of the knee, there's like a tiny little button or switch, and you just tap this button and flip the switch, and it turns off the whole monster, and it just kind of crumbles to the ground into off mode. So it's about really precise, on point, accurate action instead of just wasting energy. It feels very relevant. This could be another thing you unlock, is seeing what to do, where to act to bring your amazing vision to life. I'm just seeing you like, once you've tapped into this, then suddenly you just know where to put your pencil, where to put your paintbrush, where to put these notes in your music or whatever. I feel like there's just a huge masterpiece waiting in your mind. If you can just embrace the unknown aspect of it, let your imagination run wild. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Don't expect it to make sense. And just let yourself go on this visionary creative journey, and you're going to tap into something big and powerful. I'm excited to see what you guys are creating here. Not sure exactly what the block is. You sound like you're super creative, have these incredible imaginative abilities. I hope it's just helping you to hear my idea and theory about monsters. I think monsters are so interesting, and really their power is overlooked. We have so much, media that's just portraying monsters as either enemies or cute little harmless creatures, when in reality they're neither. They are supposed to be mysterious, unknown, and free, and that's where their real power comes from in a positive way. That's what we can learn from them, letting them show us some mysterious new thing, letting them take us on a journey of imagination and discovery. So one movie I really love is Princess Mononoke by Studio Ghibli, directed by Hayao Miyazaki. In this movie, there's these monsters, and he allows them to just be mysterious and unknown. And in the movie, there's clearly some characters who want to capture and control and kill the monsters, and other ones who embrace them and respect them and just let them be unknown. And that's the key message of the movie to me, is just like, let these beautiful monsters run free. We don't even know if they're good or bad. It's not our place to determine and, identify and declare this monster good, that one bad. They're beyond our understanding. They're huge and beautiful. I mean, in Princess Mononoke, they represent the kind of forces of nature, which are also big and beautiful and beyond our understanding, and we're in no place to be claiming to have control over them. So I love that movie. If you haven't seen it, I totally recommend Princess Mononoke. There's very few movies that have a positive representation of monsters like that. And then finally, the final card is Friar. This is about clearing the way. So this is a monster who he has a big vision that he wants to get to, a big end goal of just things that are bigger than words. Again, like appreciating beautiful things, just connecting with other monsters, enjoying the time together. But in order to get there, this monster is focused on getting done the practical to-dos that have to be done along the way to get there. So it's a very practical monster, very pragmatic, focused on what can we physically do now, what's the shortest path to the goal, but it's in service of this higher goal of really tapping into this beautiful, sublime power. So I feel like that's also saying, keep this beautiful end goal vision in mind throughout your process, because this is a lot of really powerful, big idea cards. But at the end of the day, you're sitting in your studio or whatever, you've got a pencil and paper, and you just got to take it one step at a time. Start drawing. Sorry, I keep using drawing metaphors because I like to draw. But I mean, it's a process of making something. You can't totally transfer the huge, amazing vision from your head onto paper all at once. It's a process, and you just check the boxes along the way. Sometimes you got to sharpen your pencil or go pick up some new materials. Of course, you got to spend time resting and eating, and that's all just part of the process. But don't lose sight of this amazing vision, because I think you have an amazing vision. Again, you just sound like an incredible, creative visionary here. I guess the message is just go for it. Whatever you have, people might not get it. A lot of people are scared of monsters. They're scared of the unknown. Don't let them deter you. Just go for it. Put your foot down. Be a revolutionary. Go on your journey into your seedlings. Discover new things that are just for you. Other people don't get them. Explore them in your imagination. And then bring your vision to life. Maybe that's the part that's just intimidating you. I feel like you have the vision maybe, but you're scared of putting it into practice. You're scared of really having to take your hands and make it. This is a very like manual, hands-on card of like picking locks or disarming traps. And these are reversed. I feel like you might be intimidated by the physical reality of having to bring your vision to life. And I get that because I have a big imagination. I'll imagine something that seems so wonderful, and it's scary and intimidating to try to actually make it, because what if you can't make it good enough? Or, you have to start with these tiny stepping stones that are nowhere near what you want to get to. So I feel like the message is just keep your big vision in mind, take the small steps you can to make it. Don't be afraid to put it into reality in the 3D world. You don't have to keep it to yourself in your imagination. It's something that you can put out there and create step by step. Take it one step at a time, and I think you're going to make some incredibly big, beautiful, visionary art, and I can't wait to see it. So I hope this reading helped you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was accurate, but whether it was accurate or not, I hope you'll write in the comment section what you thought about this. I hope you'll like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you will share this video with your friends if you know anyone who you think would enjoy it. And I really got carried away in this reading with explaining my theory of monsters. I hope I didn't get too carried away. I hope it made sense, and I hope you enjoyed it. But I should also just say these characters are from a manga about humans with their monster allies. Each one has a kind of invisible monster ally that only they can see, but that gives them superpowers. So they're kind of like X-Men in that they're misunderstood by society because other people can't see their monsters. They might think that person's crazy talking about a monster. But each of them has their amazing monsters with amazing abilities. So walk with your monster, walk with your amazing powers, and bring this vision to life. That is the very strong message of this. Walk into your imagination. Go let your imagination run wild to the depths of weird unknown monsterland, and then bring that into reality with your manual skills that only you have because you are a talented artist. That's the message I'm strongly getting. And wow, thank you for being here with me for this reading, and I'm going to end it now. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.